Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, can you see me now?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. I was having a few issues with getting myself to appear on screen, so I'm hoping that you are able to see me. Hello, good morning, everybody.
Hello.
There's a couple more people as I'm talking. There's a few more people coming in, so I'm just going to let a few more come on in just so we can have no interruptions. So how are you all?
Good.
Good. Look, I'll tell you, you can tell probably by the orange, I'm in a little bit casual mode. I came back from holidays to do this workshop this morning.
Oh, so thank you.
Driven all the way back from the beautiful Gold Coast. It's just amazing weather there at the moment. So what have you guys been up to? How's business?
Going good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yep.
Yep.
We've got quite a few registered for this one this morning, so it will be interesting if everybody turns up. So I can see a few of you there. I'm just entering another person.
Kerry?
Yes.
How interactive do you want us to be? Do you want to, are we okay to come in with a question, or would you prefer it in the chat box?
No, I really like it to be very interactive. So if you have a question, don't be afraid to just speak up and ask. I'm happy for everybody to be off mute as long as there's no background noise. Don't have any issues there. But I like it to be very interactive, and be warned, I do sort of pull people out and ask questions as well, and sort of get your feel on, you know, how we're going and as we go through the session as well. So you may not always see me on screen. Sometimes I turn my screen off, my video, but I am still here. I just find it a little bit distracting sometimes seeing myself on the screen looking back at me. I lose track of where I'm at. So, but yeah, I guess the first question I need to ask you guys is to get an indication of, I guess, how many of you have used Mailchimp before, and maybe this is something that you can all put in the chat. Just let me know how many of you have used Mailchimp before, or whether you've never used it, and whether you're here today to actually learn about it, or whether you've used it and you're just wanting to see if you can use it. Basic knowledge. Yep, great. Thanks, Lindsay. So we've got beginners. Oh, hi, Carrie. I didn't see you here. Where are you? I can see you there.
I'm here. Just background noise, so I'm muting and yeah, I'll start.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
No worries.
Never used it, but worked with. Okay, great. Used it some time ago. Well, look, as I said, I came back from holidays this morning to be able to do this workshop, and I thought, gee, it's been a little while. I better just jump on and make sure my slides were all sort of in line. And of course I jumped on Mailchimp, and I use Mailchimp all the time for my business, but I've been away for 4 days, and in that 4 days Mailchimp decided to have an upgrade. So I was changing my slides to make it look the same as what it actually is now, because it's had a little bit of an upgrade for those of you that have used it previously. You may have noticed that the menu is in a different spot and things are a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So we've gone from a horizontal menu to a vertical menu, which is always fun. Yep. So look, there's nobody else sort of coming in now. I just like to make sure that I get the majority of people coming into the room, but we're all looking pretty good. So please bear with me. We'll go through a slideshow today that'll keep me on track. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to put them into the chat, or to just simply ask. And I will answer those for you. But I guess the hard thing with the virtual workshops is just, what I want you to feel like is that we're in a classroom, and we're all sitting around the table, and I'm going through this presentation with you in person. So quite often, no question is a silly question. Quite often there's somebody else who has the same question that you have. So don't be afraid to speak up and ask. So first of all, I need to, obviously, as you guys know, this is a 2-hour workshop that is part of the Australian Small Business Advisory Services. And we are partnered with Business Station and RDA Australia in actually rolling out these workshops. So you guys probably know a little bit about ASBAS, obviously, that you've been able to book this workshop, but it's an amazing program that has been put on by the federal government and allows you to be able to attend these really high quality sessions for a really affordable price. So normally you would pay a lot more to go to a workshop that is this intense, but obviously through this program and the partnerships, we're able to provide it at a really reasonable price, which I love. So to introduce myself, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kerry Savrin. I'm the co-founder of Altitude Business Solutions. I've got over 20 years business experience in so many different fields. You would actually be surprised. I've done hospitality, I've done management and real estate. I'm currently the president of the Beenleigh-Yatala Chamber of Commerce. So for those that don't know, because I know we've got a lot from Western Australia on this morning as well, Beenleigh is located halfway between Brisbane and the Gold Coast in Queensland. So I have a real passion for training small business owners in the use of digital technology, and I do that through Altitude Business Solutions, and that is why the ASBAS program has really resonated with me as being something that's really important. So, and that's me. Obviously, it's got all my social channels there. If you want to touch base with me, you can touch base with me on the social channels. Now, you're in the right place if you are looking for an introduction to Mailchimp, or you've been using Mailchimp for a little while and you want to see if you're getting the most from your setup, or maybe pick up some new ideas as well. We're going to be going through quite a few things today. I'm just putting my phone on silent so no one rings me. And hopefully you'll get a lot out of it. But as I said, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. So we're going to be going through these 5 things today. Firstly, understanding the language of Mailchimp, having a look at the new interface, which was something I added in this morning because it has changed, setting up your account, setting up your audience and tags, and email automation. So we're going to be going through those things. And if you have any other questions throughout the workshop that are in relation to those, or even something different, please don't be afraid to ask. We've got 2 hours to spend together, so that is ample time for us to be able to answer any questions. So understanding the language of Mailchimp. So there are 4 key things that you need to understand. Firstly, there's campaigns, there's templates, there's audience, and there's tags. For those of you that have used Mailchimp before, you'll have an idea of what these are, but for those that are brand new, we'll start with campaigns. Now, campaigns, this is what is actually sent to your user. So a campaign could be an email, it could be a newsletter. It's the actual thing that is sent out to your audience. So it's like a flyer, or something along those lines. So Mailchimp runs behind the scene reports on how your campaigns run, which comes in really handy, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But when I'm talking about campaigns, I'm actually talking about the email or whatever it is that you've sent out to your client. There's templates. This is pretty self-explanatory. A template is exactly that, a template. So this is where you can set a template up and make it very easy for you to quickly send an email out to your clients. When I set up my templates, I set them up very generically, but all of the little things are set up. So, my logo is set up properly. All of my social links are in there, so that each time I want to create an email, I don't have to recreate those things. It's just one, less thing that you have to do. Now there's the audience. Now this can be a little bit self-explanatory. For those of you that have been using Mailchimp for a while, these used to be called lists, but they're now called audience. And these are the people who receive your campaigns or your emails that you send out. So you can organize people. You can have multiple lists if you want to, though it's my recommendation that you don't. That Mailchimp has changed a little bit now, and really they're focused on you having one main audience and then using the next thing that I'm going to talk to you about, which is tags. Now, tags are words or phrases that identify your contacts. So you might have some people that are part of your audience that you want to identify as being different to the rest of your audience, and that's where you would add a tag. So you can have this on a few people, you can have it on everybody in your audience. It really just depends what you want to do. And we will be going into tags in a little bit more detail later as well. So the new interface of Mailchimp, which I'm just going to quickly go through. For you newbies, you won't know any different, but for the ones that have been using Mailchimp in a little while and you haven't realized, it has had an upgrade. It now has, over to the left-hand side, this is the Mailchimp interface. The menu is now over to the left-hand side. So it used to be a horizontal menu across the top, and it used to have words instead of just pictures, but now it only has pictures. And we'll be going through each of these pictures so that you understand exactly what they are. But as for everything else, most things have stayed the same. There's a few little changes, but when they tend to have these upgrades, and it has only happened in the last week, there'll be a few other things that change. They'll get feedback from people about whether they like things or don't like things. So the one thing that probably one of the main complaints that I hear from people who have used Mailchimp or who haven't used it before is that it's not very user friendly. So I think they're trying to have these upgrades to try and change that a lot, but it's not a very user friendly interface that tells you exactly what you need to do or where you need to go when you're new to the platform. So have any of you, I mean, some of you newbies, you might like to comment and give me some feedback. Do you find that the interface is a little bit hard to use, or where are you at?
I struggled with the whole lot and just gave up and didn't use it. I've had it for a long time, but just haven't used it. So when this came through, I went, this is what I need. So I'm looking forward to understanding how it works.
Yeah, and I think that's it. It is very basic. So they've tried to keep it very basic and not make it too complicated, but they've probably actually just gone a little bit too far with it. So yeah, we would just want to, I understand these little changes that they're making here, but they probably need to go just a little bit further. So we'll see in the rollout what happens. And hopefully today, by the time we get to the end of the session, you will have a really great idea of exactly what you need to do, or you should do anyway. So, and then we're going to go straight into going live. We're going to go straight into how to set up your account. So bear with me while I just try and bring up the correct screen and we go live into it. This is where I always nearly cut people off for. Let's go here. And all right, you should be able to see, can you see the Mailchimp interface on your screen now?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Sometimes I cut you all off, but I've done really well. It's a good morning. I must be nice and rested and doing everything properly. It's always good. Makes it a little bit easier. So this is the Mailchimp interface. You'll notice that it comes up. This is actually my business's account, so my Altitude Business Solutions account. You notice it comes up with a nice greeting saying good morning. And then it has, over to the left-hand side, it has that vertical menu that I was talking about. So as you hover over each of those pictures, you'll notice it comes up create. The second one down is audience, which I guess they're supposed to be little people faces. The third one down is campaigns. Can't explain the triangle with the little lines on it.
Oh, it's supposed to be a megaphone.
Oh, there you go. See, you can explain it. We've got automations.
Sorry, Kerry, I've actually got a list of everything next to it. Do you want me to share my screen so you can see?
I don't know whether you'll actually be able to share your screen. Obviously I've just gone in and this is what's come up this morning. So
that little megaphone is sign up forms.
See, I've got it coming up as campaigns on my screen.
Mine's
I've got automations, website, content studio, and integrations.
That's bizarre. I've got those same icons, but a totally different explanation next to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't explain that to you. Is anybody else having that as well with their Mailchimp, that they've got something different?
No, I've got the same as you.
Yeah,
I've got the same as you, but that yellow bar is wider and there's writing.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
So it could just be what happens is, depending on the size of your screen, Because obviously a lot of these programs, what they will do is they will adjust to the size of your screen to get you the most on the screen. I'm actually running off a laptop this morning, so my screen is not really big. So what it would do is if I was on a bigger screen, it would probably make this wider and actually have the words next to it. So, I mean, that's a really good tip to know. The old one was great because it was right along the top and it didn't matter what screen you were on, it still had the words. But obviously they've moved into this new platform, and like anything, you'll get to learn exactly which one is which and go from there. The other thing that's changed as well is your actual account details are now in the bottom left-hand corner. So it's got, you know, so as I hover over that little symbol in the corner, it says account. I think under normal circumstances, if I was on a bigger screen, that little symbol would actually be my logo. But because I'm running off a laptop this morning, it's squashed it up so much that it can't show you that. So it used to be in the top right-hand corner, but now they've moved it to the bottom left. So I'm actually just going to click on that so you can see that it will bring up and some options for you, because to make sure that your account is set up properly, we need to go into your profile, which is the second one down. So this is where we're talking about making sure that your account is set up properly. So there is a few things that you can do. You can obviously upload a profile photo. And again, that will come up in that bottom corner as well. You can enter, this has obviously got our username and all the details in here as well, but just making sure that your name is filled out correctly. One little tip I will give you is that we actually found out where it has first name, I think we might have had Altitude Business and then we had Solutions as the second name because we wanted our name to come up when sending to be Altitude Business Solutions. However, we found that it wasn't coming up correctly. It was coming up Altitude Business. So that told us that we needed to have the full name under the first name section. So it now comes up Altitude Business Solutions when we send our emails. So that's just a little tip from a business perspective. We have that in there. Obviously, it's got your email address and then opportunity to put your website in there as well. So it's really important that you have that all set up so that it's all in there for your clients. And it also means that when you're sending all of your information out, that those fields will already be filled out for you as well. So if you are using the, some of you, can I get I guess a bit of a idea of how many of you are using the free version of Mailchimp and how many of you are using the paid version?
I'm free.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So the majority of you are using the free version?
We're on the paid version.
Okay. So there's a few advanced things, not necessarily in the setup, but there's a few advanced things that you will be able to do in the paid version, and we will be showing you those a little bit later. But everything that we do to start off with is actually just showing you what you can do in the free version. So there's no difference whether you're in the free version or whether in the paid version in making sure that those account details are set up correctly.
Can I ask a question in there, please?
Please do, yes.
I am running basically 2 small businesses.
Yep.
And I also do a small group email for my church.
Yes.
So I've set up 3 accounts.
Yes.
And when I had just 2, it was fine. But now that I've set up the 3rd one, it's limiting me to only about 60 people. Is that usual or not?
With the free version?
With the free version.
So no, that's not normally the case. Normally you can have, I believe it's up to 500 for the free version.
2,000 actually.
Oh, 2,000, there you go. So I can't understand why it would be restricting you to only 60. Is it giving you any kind of explanation when you do that?
Not really. It just tells me I've reached my limit.
So
I am kind of wondering, because I use the same laptop, if they're recognising the IP address and saying that there's a limit to the number from that IP address.
Not normally, because I've got multiple accounts and it doesn't do that for me. So
Okay.
I have one account under another business that I used to have, and then my new business. So I've never had an issue with that being the case. And my other one has over 500, and this Altitude Business one has over 500. So that doesn't that doesn't
Okay.
make sense.
Okay, I will contact them and ask.
Yeah, look, I do find that they're really great at getting back to me when you do put forward something unusual. So I never have an issue with them getting back to me. So I would definitely, be contacting them about that and finding out why. Notifications under the account setting as well. If you click on that, if there was anything that Mailchimp was wanting to tell me, for example, this morning it was telling me that there was a new interface. They obviously send out messages. So this is similar, I guess, to your notifications that you might be used to on social media, where it comes up giving you some tips and hints, or that there's things available as well. So you've got your account as well, or if you click on the account, it will tell you exactly where you are at. So we are actually on, I believe we're on the Essentials package from memory with Mailchimp. So you can see that we've got 543 contacts in there. This is telling us how many emails that we've sent. And this is an estimate of our next bill. Now, we actually find this next estimate where it's saying $21.15, we always find for some reason it comes in cheaper. And I don't understand why, but I'm pretty happy about it. So you can see it's not a huge amount to spend. The more contacts that you have, the more money you will spend if you are on the paid version of Mailchimp, but they will always send you a bill estimate. And I really like that, because if you decide as a business that you can no longer afford this, then you can go in and change your account and get off the paid version before you're actually billed for it. So, or you can change your contacts, you can take some contacts out and change it. So so $21.15 is what you pay, but as I said, for some reason it still comes in cheaper. It was $16.99 last month, so I don't really understand, but I'm not going to complain at all. Now, up the top, just underneath our business name, you'll notice that you've got a horizontal menu that goes across as well. So this is where you can actually put in all of your details for your settings. So if I go into details, again, so it's saying what is the account name. You can change your time zone. So I'm not sure what it is when you actually first set up, but you can actually set up a time zone. And this comes in really handy. If you're like me, I like to have my business emails set up so that they're sending between 9 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the afternoon, my time, Brisbane, because the majority of people I'm dealing with are here in Australia. And I don't know how I feel about receiving an email at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I sort of make sure I try and send it in those business hours. The chances that somebody is going to be actually on their computer at that time are greater, so they're getting to see my business name straight away. You can also change the date format. I know this is a big complaint with Mailchimp as well, because I think it's month, date, year. 12 hours is the actual default setting, but you can change it to day, month, year. Which, to me, because I'm always making that mistake where I go and type in, it's the 28th of the 2nd, and they go, it can't be the 28th month. Oh yeah, it's the other way around. So I always have it set day, month, year, and in 12 hours. And then your currency format as well. So it gives you a few options there. I don't think that's so much of a big deal for me, but I think I may have just left that at the default. And also under setting, you've got users. This is where if you had multiple people, and this is, you can see in our account here, so we've got Altitude Business Solutions, which is our main one. And then this Lyndall Appleby is actually my sister. So she is actually in the business with me. And she has access because she had another account. So she has access through her Mailchimp account as well. But this is where you can invite users. Is there anybody on today that has staff or people that might be working with them?
Yes.
Who would be using?
Yes.
So this is where it's really handy for you to invite or add a user. And just over to the right hand side, you'll see an invite user button. The great thing about this, from my perspective, is that when that person is no longer working with you anymore, you can revoke their access. So if you look on Lyndall and we go across over to the right hand side, you'll see where it says revoke access. We can take access off at any stage. And what I do find is that a lot of people, when they do have staff, they were changing their password all the time. You know, someone's left, oh, we're going to change our password so they can't access it anymore. And this is actually a much better way of doing it. If you invite a user along, you can revoke their access at any time, and you're not constantly changing your password. If you're like me, there's so many passwords, so little time to remember them all. Yeah.
Mine's not highlighted. It's saying upgrade to add more seats. So I think I might need a paid version to invite a user.
Oh, okay. I do apologise. Yes, this is a paid version user.
Yeah.
This is a paid version as well.
Okay.
So my fault there. I should have told you that.
That's okay.
Thanks for that. Yeah, so it does come in handy if you have those extra people and you want to add those to have that feature as well. Security, if we go through, I know I've got my security set up is as a 2-factor authentication. Now, as a paid user of Mailchimp, I actually get a discount. You can see here, so we offer a 10% discount there. You get a discount when you have the 2-factor authentication. That's a big word. I always struggle with that word. Set up as well. So I've got mine set up, and it just automatically sends a code to my phone, so that I can enter that code. I only have to enter it in once every 2 weeks. So you can set it up so that it's once every 2 weeks, but it does have that security setting on it as well.
Actually, Kerry, that's probably why your bill comes in cheaper. They'll probably be sending you the full amount, and you get your discount because you have your two-factor authentication.
Yeah, and that's what we thought, but it's not the 10%. So I don't, yeah, it wasn't that simple. I looked at that and went, oh, well, you know, at $21, I should be getting, you know, $2.10 discount, but it was actually about nearly $5. So yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm not gonna complain about it at all. Then it comes up, obviously, you've got, you can edit your information again here as well. We've got all of our details in, including the address as well. Don't have the phone number in there, but there you go. So our registered address is 9 Meander Court in Ormo Hills, which is just a little bit further south from Beenleigh. But yeah, you can enter in all of that information as well. If we go down to domains, this is where I think, for me, it's in the settings part that a lot of people actually, they don't go through this and they don't set up all, you know, the things that they can set up. So you just need to go through and actually authenticate your domains. Now, what's really interesting here is that I have a couple of accounts. And so I have registered domains of a couple of those accounts. So you can see this bycc.com.au one here as well. That's because I'm president of the Beenleigh Up the Chamber of Commerce. So I have set up some things with them as well. But if you verify your domains, and the Gmail one is just for our Gmail email account as well, you can do that and get them verified. Manage my data. I haven't actually been into this one, so. Oh, here we go. So you can actually, so you can actually export all of your data from Mailchimp if you ever wanted to, by going into the Manage My Data section underneath your settings. So if you decided that you wanted to leave Mailchimp and go to another provider, then you can actually download all of the data so that you can just upload it into another program, or so that you've got it there. And that just gives you the ability to be able to do that. Something, again, I've never done. Pause or delete account, that's pretty explanatory. You can just pause it or you can delete it. We don't want to do either of those today. But just going through and making sure that everything is set up. So your billing, obviously your billing information, what plan you're on, your billing history. The billing history comes in handy at tax time if you've been a little bit lazy, like unfortunately I was last year and didn't have all of my receipts handy. So I had to go into billing history and get all those receipts emailed to me again. And I've now learnt to put them aside so that you can upload those where you need to. Extras, I haven't ever used any of these referral API keys or registered apps. I don't bother. Integrations is a good one. Obviously, if you're using any kind of program, I'm always saying, have a look at the integrations. This is a form of automation that can save you quite a bit of time as well. So there's a few integration. You can see we've got our Facebook account hooked up. One thing that you can do with Mailchimp is you can actually do social media campaigns through Mailchimp as well. And so we've got our Facebook all hooked up, but you can hook your Google up. There's so many of them, Square, Stripe. Comes in handy, Square and Stripe, if you're selling things, if you've got an e-commerce site or selling products. Again, you can link those things up, and keeping in mind a lot of this might be paid features as well. You may not have access to this in the free version. But if you're using Square as your payment service through your website, or even Stripe is another popular one, then that person will be added directly to your Mailchimp audience as well, which means you don't have to do that double handling straight away. You've got WooCommerce on there as well for those WordPress users. That's another a really good one. Website builders, Squarespace and WordPress are the two that they've got there. You can do, Eventbrite. That's something that we've got set up. So anybody that buys a ticket through our Eventbrite account to one of our webinars or workshops automatically goes into our database. So it just saves me time. I don't have to add them in. And the design, you can actually integrate Canva and Photoshop as well, which we haven't done and is something that we will be doing. So it means you can create an email in Canva and integrate it. For those of you that are big Canva users, we haven't done this yet, as you can see, but it's something that we will be doing in the future. So that pretty much explains integration. So does that make sense? Does anybody have any other questions on that little section there? No, you're all very quiet.
I have a question.
Yes.
This looks really interesting. If I want to find out further what to do, how to do it, where's the best place to start?
As in on your account?
Yeah, integrations on my account. Oh, I'd like to integrate Facebook. Oh, I don't really understand, my understanding of Facebook is not great.
Yep.
And some of these others I would like to do at some stage.
So the easiest way to do it is to do it exactly through this page that we are on now. And you simply just select the one that you want to integrate. So if we wanted to integrate Facebook, we would just click on Facebook and it would take us through the setup. So I've clicked on here and it's already we're already connected, so I don't need to worry about it. But you would see here it says page, and it's asking you to select the page, and you would go from there. It is very easy to set up. It just says sign into your Facebook account, which you do, and then it will just allow you to connect it and you can test the connection. So you just click on any of those tiles. In fact, if I go back maybe to one that we haven't connected, I wonder if I'm clever enough to set up my Canva. So here, this is setting up our Canva account. So it's saying connect a new site. Hopefully it's going to work for me.
Look, I don't expect you to deviate from the script. I was just curious to know, and there was another question too.
Yes.
You said that it collects email addresses from things like Eventbrite.
Correct.
Does that mean that if you are on Eventbrite, you are giving implicit permission for the organizer of the event to contact you?
So if you are
how does that go with permissions to?
So you're talking about privacy issues?
Yeah, I am.
So when it comes to privacy, as long as you are sending that person information about what they are signing up to, you are not breaching any kind of privacy laws. So let's say, for example, they were to sign up to, they were to buy a ticket to one of my workshops, and I was to start sending them information about green frogs, which is not what they've signed up for, then that's not great. You can't technically get into trouble, but it's technically not great. I would say don't do that.
Sorry, just to narrow it down a bit.
Yes.
So to what they sign up to. So if they're signing up to, say, repurposing your email, your content to different social media groups.
Brought to you by Altitude Business Solutions. brought to you by your business. As long as your business name is in there, you can send them anything from your business.
That's what I want to know. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So
you
the
can't do
other
it
thing is
something-
as well, if you are using Eventbrite for events, it's about having that email set up correctly as well. So the email that you get when you sign up to anything on Eventbrite, in that initial email, you can actually say, you can look forward to receiving regular emails from us. So you're basically telling them that you're going to be sending them emails. So that's another way around it as well. And obviously through Mailchimp, you are within the, you know, obviously they have everything set up so that people can unsubscribe. And that's what the important thing is, that you are giving the ability for people to unsubscribe from your mailing list.
Is that an automatic thing with Mailchimp?
It is, yes.
Excellent. I have another question, Kerry, if there's
Sure.
I don't want to just cut anyone off though.
That's
You're
fine.
right.
Okay. When it comes to, I've been having a bit of a play while you've been chatting, and I've just tried to connect to Facebook.
Yep.
I have multiple accounts. It says you need to have an active account that manages at least one for integration, but it's not giving me a choice of what I want to connect with. It's only giving me one it's giving me CE Woodman. What if I wanted to connect as Bathcom?
So it should say Facebook pages. Is there Facebook pages?
No, if I just add Instagram to your Facebook page, no. More, no.
So mine's coming up saying select a Facebook page.
See, that's probably a paid thing. It's just saying continue as CE or cancel. That's it.
So you've got 2 profiles, right?
Yeah.
So your Facebook page is set up to both of those profiles or only one?
I don't know.
Because it sounds to me like the last time you've been on Facebook has been under that CE Woodman profile.
What I've got a Bathcom Chrome and a personal Chrome. So Carrie is the personal one and CE is the Bathcom one. So I'd say it's recognizing that.
Yeah, but I think it's talking about your because you've got 2 different profiles on Facebook as well.
Yeah,
don't you?
yeah.
So you need to make sure that both of your profiles are connected to that Facebook page, because if they're not,
Well, they are though. Like, oh, hang on, no, they're not actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say that that's the reason why it's not recognizing the last time you signed on. And if it is coming up and you've got 2 profiles, you need to go into Facebook, sign out of that profile and sign into the other profile so that it will recognize it, because it will always just take the last sign on that you've been on with Facebook as well.
Got you. Okay, so I can actually connect as Bathcom then, as my business.
You should be able to. It sounds to me like
Play with that. That's okay.
Your CE Woodman profile will need to have access to your Bathcom page in order for it to connect.
Oh, it does that, but yeah, it's definitely connected.
Yeah, having multiple profiles can get a little bit confusing for these programs, because it does, especially if you're using Chrome, because it recognizes the last profile that you signed on with.
I'll figure it out. Thank you.
So,
is there any other questions?
So, Kerry, I was just going to interrupt in that relation to that.
Sure.
So when you set up a business page, you start off with your personal profile, and you can set up multiple business pages under your profile, and it's just a matter of toggling in and out of the different business, like your personal profile and then your business page. So then when you go in and connect Facebook, it would just ask you.
If you've only got one profile but you've got multiple pages, you'll notice when I go into mine, see how it comes up saying select a Facebook page, and it's giving me all the Facebook pages that I have access to. So that's because I've only got one profile that is against lots of different pages. So if you've got the one profile, you shouldn't have any trouble.
That's right.
It's when you've got 2 profiles and maybe one profile has access to a whole heap of pages but the other profile doesn't, that it can start to get a little bit confused.
Yeah, that's much been my issue.
Yeah.
So particularly Chrome, because it's really clever at actually just picking up the last time you signed on at. So a little bit too clever, I guess. So did anybody have any other questions on that setup section? Like obviously if you just go through that tab down the bottom, in the bottom left-hand corner, whether you're on the free version or the paid version, and you just keep going through each page and making sure that that's set up correctly, then you're going to make sure that everything is set up easy for you when you start. And it really is the starting point in making sure that your Mailchimp is on the right track. How many people I've gone into and they've gone, oh, I get so frustrated because every time it comes up with the wrong name or the wrong, you know, and they've changed email accounts and they haven't updated it. So those types of things.
I have a quick question. If we
Sure,
want further information beyond this that you're giving us right now, what is the Mailchimp self-guidance, self-help like?
That's a good question. I always say go to Google, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but I'm just not 100% familiar with this new platform as exactly where to find it for you. But anything that I can't do on Mailchimp, I Google, because it will give me the exact link of where I need to go. So you can type in Mailchimp setup, and straight away one of the first things to come up will be the Mailchimp instructions on how to set up your Mailchimp.
Yes.
They also have a lot of instructional videos as well to talk you through it. I would be surprised if they've got them updated to this new look, but the wording is still the same. So the wording hasn't changed from the old look.
It's still very well to say set it up the right way, but what is the right way? How do you know
the
you
right,
have to take?
The right way is the right way for your business. So when you go into your account and you go into settings, making sure that your first name and your last name is what you want it to be, because when you set up your account initially, you may have set it up as your personal name and you now want to have it as your business name. So when I first set this account up, it was set up under Kerry Savrin, and I had to go into the settings and actually change it to Altitude Business Solutions. So it just depends on...
It's an excellent point. Just jumping back to that, because I set my prep done as requested by you, and I put my name and first name because that's generally what it means. So if the business name is the first name, should you be putting something in your last name column?
So we had actually set up originally, we were Altitude Business Solutions.
Yes.
But what we found is when we're sending emails out, it was just coming up Altitude Business. It was just coming up with the first name. So we've put ours in as Altitude Business Solutions. You'll see there in the first name. And then the last name also just says Solutions, because that was how we initially set it up.
Right, thanks for
that.
that.
But if you're finding that your emails aren't going out correctly, just come back to this screen and you can change it at any time. And this is where you can also update your password if you're wanting to change your password also. So is everyone good with that?
Can you do do you get to see a draft of what it looks like before it gets sent out? Because I've only got one word for my business name and I don't know what to do there. So can I just check it before it goes out and tweak it if I need to? Cool. Okay,
yes.
thanks.
Yeah, and you can adjust it every single time. We just got tired of adjusting it every single time. We wanted it to come up. We get used to these pre-populated things that come up. So we sort of just wanted it to come up without us having to adjust that. So it just means that when the email comes into someone's inbox, it comes in as Altitude Business Solutions. That comes in correctly.
Kerry, I set my Mailchimp account up in my personal name. Is that okay?
If that's what you're wanting people to actually see when the email goes out, then that's not a problem for you at all. We wanted it to come up with our business name. We wanted our business name to be the name that was recognised. So we've just put this in here so that it automatically populates every time we send an email and we don't have to change it. I mean, every single email that you do, you can change as much as you like in it. It could say Bob Smith, coming from Bob Smith, if that's who you want it to come from. You can change it each time. But if you're wanting to set up a bit of automation so that it does come out without you having to adjust it every time, all of the emails that we send from this account are coming from Altitude Business Solutions. So it's just one less thing that we have to adjust all the time when we're creating our campaigns.
What if you have different iterations? Like if I've got 3 or 4 different email addresses and different segments that I'm working on in different...
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a way to be able to set up more than one. So I would say pick the one that you send the most from. And then each time you create a campaign, it will actually come up with that business, but you can manually change it every time you are sending out a campaign or an email to your audience.
So if I've got separate email addresses for each of the different iterations, would it be better to set up the different Mailchimp accounts with the different email addresses?
So they're different businesses, are they?
Yes. Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So different businesses, different email addresses. Sorry, what was the question that you asked? It was,
so should I set up separate Mailchimp accounts for each of the different businesses?
Oh, look, this is a good one. It just depends on like how often are you sending emails out?
Well, I'm not at the moment.
Yeah. Look, it might be easier having the one account, but then it is to actually have 3 different accounts, because you could set up a tag for the people that are with certain businesses as well. And then you're not signing in and out of accounts all the time, because that can get a little bit frustrating as well.
Yes, so then you'd probably put all the setups in the templates, like if you create a different template for each of the different businesses.
That's correct, yeah. So you'd have 3 different templates for the 3 different businesses, and then you'd have different tags on the people depending on what business they were involved in. So it can get a little bit complicated, because obviously you have to make sure when you're sending out those emails that you've got the correct tags on. Otherwise, people from your other businesses are going to be sent out emails that they didn't necessarily subscribe to. So you would just have to be a little bit careful with that. But yeah, but that's my advice to you, is just to go to that bottom left-hand corner and just go through page by page and fill out the information and set it up. And if you need to change at any stage, you can always go back there and change it. It's always interchangeable. So any more questions on that? Boyd, I can see you there. You're being very quiet.
Hello, no, I'm good. As somebody pointed out, you might want to update your your website address at the bottom there, because you've got a spelling error in that.
Correct, I know. And every time I send an email, in fact, I'll do that now I'm here. Every time that I send an email out, I have to fix it up, which is very frustrating for me.
While you're doing that, Kerry, I just clicked on the last one of those, transactional. What is a transactional email?
So I haven't used a transactional email before, so let's go in and have a look. Guess we can go to it and see. I dare say it's going to be transactional emails are ideal for sending event-driven emails, including targeted e-commerce and personal one-to-one messages. So it sounds like it's a form of an email that goes out. This is a brand new button that wasn't there previously. There's transactional email, so this is part of the new upgrade. It sounds to me like it's a little bit, it's about e-commerce. So it could be that you can sell from your email if you've got your Square account actually set up to it, where previously you've had to direct them to a website to be able to use it. But it sounds to me like they're going to have some integration there of you being able to sell directly from your emails, which would be great.
Thank you.
So that sounds like that to me. So the next thing that I guess I wanted to have a talk to you about, or that's on my little list here to talk to you about, is setting up of audiences and tags. So if I just go down to the second menu item, which is audiences. So you see how as I click on it, it's actually coming up with that extended menu. This is probably what a lot of you can see if you're on the bigger screens. It has the yellow menu down the side. So as I click on each item, it's actually bringing up that option for me. So you can go straight to your audience dashboard, which is what we're on now. So straight away you can see that our audience has 543 contacts and 433 of them are subscribers. So what's that, just over 100 that have unsubscribed in the time that we've been collecting email addresses. and we collect email addresses in a number of different ways. So the old Mailchimp, for those of you that have been on for a long time, this used to be called lists instead of audiences, and you would have multiple different lists. And a lot of YouTube videos that you watch on the old Mailchimp, which really frustrates me, they advise you to have a number of different lists. I'm going to advise you to not have a number of different lists. I'm going to advise you to have one list and then add your tags on through there. Jeanette, you were talking earlier about your 3 businesses. I would suggest to you, if you're using more than one business, that you have an audience per business. This is going to stop you from accidentally sending an email out to someone that shouldn't be getting it. So if I click on ours, we actually had 2 audiences set up. We were working for a real estate agency, and we were taking a lot of their details and sending out a lot of emails on their behalf. So we set up a second audience for them. We're no longer working for them. As you can see, there's no contacts in there. We exported the contacts, gave them to and deleted them from our account because we didn't want to have them as part of our account. But I would suggest if you're only running one business, then you only need one audience, because how you can separate your audience is through your tags, which we'll go on a little bit. So as we go down, you'll notice because we've got the paid version of Mailchimp, it does give us a few stats that I'm not sure it actually gives you with the free version, but I'll just show you those anyway. It talks about recent growth, so the number of new contacts that have been added to this audience in the last 30 days. So we've had 29 new contacts that have been added in. And what's interesting about this is when we first started our business, we were going to a lot of networking events, and we were just taking business cards, and we were saying, you know, is it okay if we were to send you some information about some, you know, business tips and hints? And people were like, yeah, that's not a problem at all. And then we were coming home and entering in their email addresses. We obviously have not been going to the number of networking events this year as to what has happened. So a lot of our new contacts are coming in through our events that we run. As you can see, as we scroll down, it says 48% of them are coming from Mailchimp Eventbrite extension. So that means they're going to Eventbrite, buying a ticket, and then being added to our list. There is another program that you all may have heard of called Zapier. Have you heard of Zapier?
Yes.
So it's a program that connects programs together. Our CRM system that we use does not, unfortunately, have a Mailchimp integration built into it. So we have had to use Zapier to actually integrate our CRM system. So you can see that that would all be 42% of them would be coming from our CRM system. And then you can see that I did an import as well on the 4th of September, which says 10%. So the reason why I did that, and that's not normally there, is I noticed that our integration through Zapier through our CRM system was not working. So I downloaded everybody out of our CRM and put them into Mailchimp to make sure they were all there and they weren't missing out. So it's clever that it does sort of split it up and tell you where they've actually come from, and it's good to see that they're coming in from other areas rather than us entering it in as well. We do have a sign up form on our website, which is a pop-up. That's something that you can do to get subscribers as well. If you've got people going to your website, it does pop up and allow them to be able to subscribe to your email address if they want to. We don't get too many from that, I'll be honest. Any questions on that?
Oh, well, Kerry, I've got quite a lot of connections on LinkedIn,
yes,
based on my different from my business profiles previously in my roles and responsibility in my job, but now I'm sort of out on my own. Can you import the contacts from, I know when I exported my contacts, it ended up in a CSV file, but it had separated the contacts with the email addresses, so it had separate spreadsheets for each part of the LinkedIn connection detail.
So like email address was
yes.
one file and name was another file, and yeah. And they were all CSV files?
Yes, yes.
So probably the best thing for you to do would be to set up a new file and try and get at least their names and their emails on the one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I'm testing out a CRM system called UPilot, which does have Mailchimp integration. So it also has LinkedIn integration. So yeah, okay. It's just a matter of fine tuning that export out of LinkedIn and then perhaps importing it into the UPilot CRM and then integrating it with Mailchimp. That would be the way to go, that direction in terms of the process.
Look, it sounds to me like if it's got integration with both LinkedIn and Mailchimp, it should automatically go into Mailchimp, that you shouldn't have to do anything.
No,
so that would definitely, absolutely be, and I can't wait for my CRM to actually integrate with Mailchimp. That's it has so many features, but that's one of the ones that it doesn't have, because it makes life so much easier when everything just talks to one another, and you don't have to actually enter things in. So I would definitely be suggesting that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on that?
Yes, Karen.
Yes.
You may be going to cover this later, but the email addresses we put in, we've got a stack of email addresses on our lists.
Yeah.
But we've been recently told that if the email address starts with the word admin, info, contact, or other such nebulous generic headings, Mailchimp will now block you and bounce them back.
So I did have an issue with a client too, and this is great that you've brought it up. So when you upload your contacts into Mailchimp, if you are importing them, which is putting them into Mailchimp via a CSV file, and let's say there's 100 of them, one of the little boxes as you're going to import them that it asks you is, have you been given permission to email this person? And a lot of people, what they do is they tick that, and then Mailchimp goes, well, I'm not really sure about integrating these 100 people. There is another option on there for you, which is that you can actually send them what's called a subscription email, where you're asking their permission to send an email. If you tick that, you won't have any problems. But if you just upload your list, and I'm not sure about the whole admin, I've never had an issue. Because a lot of businesses, they do just have one called admin, or marketing or something along those lines. So I've never had that that issue before, but I do know that if you upload a large list, that Mailchimp gets a bit sus on those, and they will make you send out a subscription invite, I think it's called.
Yeah, I have the admin problem as well.
Mm-hmm. So what does it do? Because I have lots of emails that are admin, so I don't know why. Is it coming from your account that's called admin, or going to an account that's admin?
Going to an account that's called admin.
So what does it give you? It gives you an error, or what does it say?
It basically says that they've imported so many, but they haven't. Could have been an error. And one of those things is it's too generic for them, and yet they'll do info, they'll do all of the, it's a role base, that's right, a role base.
So how many emails are you importing at the same time?
It could be about 20 or 30.
Yeah, okay. So I think for me, it's the bulk import that causes problems. We will always enter our email addresses in one at a time. If we have a lot of them over a few days, because I just found as soon as I started importing larger lots, it won't let us. That's when I was having the issues. Obviously, Mailchimp is trying to be really careful, I guess, of their reputation and making sure that they're not spamming people, that you do have permission to be able to email the other party. Have you tried importing them and then asking for the subscription?
I haven't done that,
Invite?
but I have actually entered them individually after they've been rejected.
And individually it allows you to do it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's just that they're being really careful with the client that I had recently opened a new Mailchimp account and then tried to import 200 contacts. And Mailchimp just went, well, no, you couldn't possibly have got permission from all of these people at the same time. So it wants you to send out that subscription invite so that it can make sure that it's not going to get banned as such. Mailchimp is trying to make sure it lands in people's inboxes and not in their spam folder and in their junk mail.
Okay.
So that's what that's about there. But I would definitely be, just uploading them one at a time is probably the easiest. But that's your audience dashboard anyway. So from here, there's a number of things that you can do, but I'm just going to stick to menu to keep it easy. I'm going to go down to all contacts, which is pretty self-explanatory. It says view a list of all of your contacts. So that will come up. So these are all of our contacts that we have in our account. Now you'll notice it has just above all of the contact names, it actually has a horizontal menu bar again. Now this is where you can manage contacts. If you click on that, it gives you a number of options as well. I'm not going to go into those today because it gets very technical, but this is where you can add a contact. So you can add a subscriber or you can import a contact, which we've just been talking about. I said to you with your import lists, just be careful how many you are importing. You may have to split your list up in order to get it to work correctly. Otherwise, you can add a subscriber just one at a time. So if we go into that, it just brings up the form. And you can just say, add the email address, first name, last name. I enter in as much details as I can. You know, sometimes you get a business card from somebody and it has their street address and all of that. I do enter all that details in as well. And then you'll notice down here, down the bottom is this person gave me permission to email them. And you can tick that if that's what they have actually given you permission. And the other one I recommend that you tick is if this person is already in my audience, update their profile. So that way, if there's somebody that from our perspective, we may have had somebody that has actually become a subscriber from our website. When they come from our website, it only asks them for their email address. It doesn't ask them for their first and last name. So if we then meet them in person and we enter their details in and we tick this, it will update their details rather than create another contact for us. So we want those contacts to be updated and not be costing us another person. Because the more contacts you have, obviously, the more you pay if you're on the paid subscription of Mailchimp as well. So this is where you can also add your tags. Can I ask, is everybody familiar with the word tags? Do you understand what it means? So I'll just quickly run through it. I can see a couple of you there shaking your heads. So a tag is an identification word that you can put on somebody. So for example, for you guys for today, you would have a tag on you that let me know that you came to this event, which is the Mailchimp 101 workshop. So that would be a tag that would be on you. If I just go plus on tags, you'll notice it's going to bring up all of our tags. So you notice I've got ASBAS client, ASBAS Hope Island, webinar, workshop. So this is a way for me to be able to separate my audience. So for you guys today, I would put ASBAS workshop on so that you are all tagged as ASBAS workshop. But I may want to add additional tags to you as well. So for example, you'll notice in here I have when people have come to specific webinars that I want to be able to identify them. You can have as many different tags as you like. Tags are going to be a really good thing for you. So every time I meet somebody and they go into Mailchimp, if I meet them again somewhere else, they get another tag put on them. So if they've come to one of my free Trello webinars, they will get that tag put on them. But then if I've actually met them at a networking group, which is called Like-Minded Ladies in Logan, then I add them to that. And it just means when I go to email somebody or send something out, I can say, I only want you to send this email to the people of the Logan Country Chamber of Commerce. So I'm not going to be emailing my entire list or my entire audience. I'm only going to be emailing the people that are tagged with Logan Country Chamber of Commerce. Does that make sense?
I just have a question about that. Do you have to manually add them all in, or does it automatically tag people based on where they are imported from? Like, for example, the Eventbrite.
Yep, if they've come through an Eventbrite event, it will actually put an Eventbrite tag on it. So you notice here, it says event, Altitude Business Solutions Networking, event, automating emails using Mailchimp. These are actually events that we've ran and people have bought tickets to. So it automatically adds those tags for you as they buy their ticket. But if you are entering them manually, you will have to add the tags manually yourself.
So how did you set up, sorry, my husband's vacuuming right now.
That's okay.
How did you set it up to automatically add it? Or like, how did you?
It just does. Yeah, I didn't do anything. All I did was I just integrated the Eventbrite and automatically, as it takes them, puts them over into Mailchimp, it adds that tag to them.
Actually,
Okay.
can I comment in here?
Yes.
If you have a small list or any list that you are importing, one of the steps that they ask is, do you want to add a tag?
Tag, yes.
So that whole list will come under that one tag.
Correct. So if you've got multiple tags that you want to put on, I think they're separated with a comma in that column, and you can add as many or as little tags as you like when you're importing in bulk. So it's completely up to you what kind of tags, but it just means I would be able to email everybody at the end of this session because you guys would have a tag on it for today's event. So I don't have to worry about going to do that. So does that make sense?
One question.
Yep.
You can only use one tag per emailing bulk email at a time, can't you? You can't use two tags like you can't do electricians and plumbers.
No, I believe you can. When you're sending an email out?
I've tried it, and it, as soon as I go for the second tag, it replaces the first.
I'm sure I've sent one out to two tags before, but we're going to be doing an email shortly, so we'll try it. And maybe it's a paid version and not a free version. It could be that you can then add multiple tags as well. We've been on the paid version for quite a while now, so I tend to forget, unfortunately, what's on the free version. But
to replicate the email and send it to the second tag.
Yeah, so tags on everything will set you free is what I always say to people. So we put so many tags on some people that people go, that's just crazy. Why do you need so many tags? But it just gives us such a way to identify them. If I want to send a tag to, and this is why I'm thinking I can do multiple tags on the paid version, is because if I want to send an email out to somebody that I've met at a Beenleigh Outlet Chamber of Commerce event and they live in Beenleigh, or their business address is in Beenleigh, and I've entered all that information in as a tag, I will be able to separate them. So we put suburbs in as tags as well. If we know that somebody's business is located in Brisbane or Ipswich, or our little triangle is from business, it's from Brisbane to the Gold Coast to Toowoomba. So that's the area, massive area that we work in. So if we're doing a workshop at Springfield, we want to let everybody who's in the vicinity of Springfield know that we're going to be there on that day. So we will be able to actually segment those people out and saying, hey, we're going to be in your area next Friday if you want to come to an in-person workshop. So it can be really great for you to be able to use as many tags as you can. You can never have too many. Has anybody else had experience with using tags that they'd like to share with us?
Well, tagging is like social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook and all of those are using tags, and CRM systems, you can tag in your CRM system, right? So if you're doing a mining, like if it's a mining company, you tag them as a mining company.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's, so having multiple tags would be the way to go. So you might have you went to a networking function, but it was an accountant who you met. So then you want to have that tag because then it reminds you that you met them at that.
Exactly. That's exactly the key. And people often say, and for those of you that are running CRMs, you'll know how important all of this kind of stuff is. But people will say to me, oh my gosh, how did you remember that? I don't always remember that. You know, 543 people in our database. I don't remember where every single one of them came from or where we met. So that's what the CRM system is for, and that's what your Mailchimp tags are for. So it also means that, particularly from an email perspective, that you're not emailing them stuff that is irrelevant to them, that doesn't make sense. Like, why is she sending me this? Because I'm not a plumber, and she's clearly trying to send it out to plumbers. So it saves you, because people will start hitting that unsubscribe button if you're sending them stuff that's not relevant to them. And don't be afraid of the unsubscribes either, guys. I know a lot of people go, oh, I haven't sent any emails out. And then when I started to send emails out, all of these people unsubscribed. So I just stopped. People are going to unsubscribe from your email. We just focus in, you know, you need to think about your business as a funnel. If you're putting people in the top all the time and people are coming out the bottom, it doesn't make any difference. And if people are unsubscribing, it's because A, they didn't see value in what you were sending them, or it's not really relevant to them for whatever reason. And that's okay. You want to be talking to people who do want to see your services and who do want to use your business.
Or they get too many emails.
That's it. Yeah, some people do. I mean, it depends. For me, as I said, I'm the president of the Chamber of Commerce. You can't imagine how many emails I get to president@bycc.com.au. Never been asked if I wanted to be a part of it. And I unsubscribe to them straight away because I have no idea who they are or what they are. And some people will do that, particularly with their work emails, because they don't want to get distracted. You know, they're there to work. So I don't know how many of you have sat down on your computer and gone to work and all of a sudden it's telling you you've got emails coming through and you can't help but go and have a look. So some people don't want those distractions coming into their inbox either. So I guess why you should use tags is so that you can separate your audience and be able to send specific emails to them only. And how many should you use? Use as many as you think you want to put on. I put on as many as I possibly can. So is there any more questions for that?
So Kerry, when you've got the current audience, is the tag in the current audience? Is that right?
So there's two different audiences. So if I was to go into the all properties group, which I know has got no one in it because we took everybody out, it'll come up telling me. But that was for our Altitude Business Solutions. Sorry, my internet's now going to go extremely slow. So it's saying for this particular audience that there has no contacts and none of them are subscribers because we've got nobody in there. But if each time you flick between them, it's giving you the different audiences. So, sorry, you had a question?
I was going to say, obviously, if you're using a CRM and you've put all the details in the CRM, then you input them, then obviously, if you've tagged them in the CRM, it should automatically put the tag into Mailchimp, or do you have to go in and, yeah. Okay. So
no, it does. And you'll need to have a look at because I mean, obviously if you've got different businesses, are you going to have a CRM account for each business?
Well, I'm still in the early stages.
Yeah, because that's the only thing that you'll need to just think of as well. If it's integrated from your CRM system, you can only choose one audience. So when you're integrating Mailchimp with your CRM system, it'll say what audience do you want people in your CRM system to be a part of.
Yeah.
And then from there you can say, you pick the audience, but if you can't pick three, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, you've just got to choose what you're going to use Mailchimp for.
That's right. Yeah. And I guess the idea of having an insight today as well helps you make the decisions about how you want it to be set up so that it's, user friendly for you as well. And that's why I'm really glad they've changed. They used to say have multiple lists with a few tags. Now they're saying that's too complicated. Just have one list and have multiple tags. So, but with separate businesses, it is probably easier in my eye to have those different audiences for you. So, does anybody else have any questions?
Yes, Karen. This is my first go at tags, so excuse my ignorance. Now, we've got a large database and we've got events all the time. So the events go out, as one event goes, the one template goes out to all the audience in one go. We've tried to put sponsors and those sort of people in a different, like a tag.
Yes.
But does that mean you can have two different templates and pull out and send them out simultaneously and they'll pick up two different audiences?
You would need to, when you're sending your email, you would need to send two separate emails out.
Yes, that's right. But you store two different templates and link one to the tags and one to the
Well,
standard audience?
the way that the templates work is the templates work sort of on their own. So if you're sending that email out and you are not wanting to send it to sponsors, is that what I'm guessing you're wanting to do? Because you're wanting to send a different one to sponsors?
Yeah.
Then you would need to actually probably have the paid version of Mailchimp so that you can send it to every other tag. Because once they're in that audience, that is it. And that would be an example of where you probably need to set up a separate audience for just your sponsors.
That's right.
And then take them out of the audience with everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because otherwise, if you're like me and you're using all of those tags, there's a lot of them that you have to tag.
How do you categorize the audiences in the system so you can know which one gets which email, which template?
Well, each time you do your email, the first thing it asks you is what audience do you want to send it to, and you have to pick that manually.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not. We're going to go into actually doing up an email next. So if everybody's okay, we might move on to that.
Sorry, I just have a quick question.
Sure, Carrie.
How do you? This might be something that we looked at the beginning, but I just need to double check. How do you set up an audience? Is that by what you're tagging, or?
So when you go into your audience
because
section,
I've got customers and I've got stockists, so I want to create a stockist audience. How do I do that?
So manage your audiences over to the side.
Yeah.
Add a subscriber, sign up forms, inbox, manage contacts, view audiences.
Yeah, I'm in view audience now. It's saying I've got 16 contacts and they're all subscribers. They're all
in the top right-hand corner, it says create an audience.
Where?
In the top right-hand corner, it should say.
No.
If I share my screen, am I sharing my screen with you?
I can see it. It's on yours. It's not on mine.
Oh, I don't know, Carrie. It doesn't sound like. What are you using Chrome as your platform to view on, or are you using another?
I'm using Chrome.
I can't tell you why. Yeah.
Because I've been following everything you're saying and I'm like, well, how do I create an audience? There's nothing to
Well,
show.
if you're on that audience's page, it should come up like mine, and then in the top right-hand corner, it should have create an audience, and you create an audience.
It's nothing there. It's just saying add contacts.
You're inside the audience by the sound of it, are you?
Yeah.
You're not on the audience's page?
Oh, I'm clicking on my 16 contacts now. And all I've got is toggle columns, export audience, and then the standard list across the top. Overview, manage contacts, add contacts, sign up form, setting, inbox and surveys.
So on your audience dashboard, which is the page that I'm on now, and over to the right-hand side, it should say manage audience, and you should click on that.
Import contacts, add a subscriber.
You want to be view audiences down the bottom?
Yeah.
And you click on that.
Oh, upgrade now. You've hit your audience limit.
Okay, so because you're on the free version, you can only have one audience.
Okay.
So
all right.
To have a second audience, you'd need to be on the paid version.
That makes sense. Thanks. Yes. Sorry, everyone.
That's okay. It's probably somebody else sitting here with the exact same problem as well. So, all right. So the next thing that I want to go into is actually into your campaign. So we're going back over to the left-hand side into our vertical menu and going down to what is I'm calling it the triangle with the lines all the time, but somebody said before it was a megaphone. I think that was Beth. Yes. I think you could be right, Beth. Sounds much more professional than the triangle with the lines coming out of it. So,
oh, well, you're going to tell things to people, you see.
Yeah, that's it. You're going to spruik it. That's exactly what it's about. So from this page here is where you can actually create all of your campaigns. So we might just start off really simply. I'll just start off with creating one from scratch. But these are a list of all of our campaigns that we have done or we haven't done. You'll notice these unpublished ones that you can see here. On the paid version of Mailchimp, you can have a landing page. This is when we're working for our real estate agent. We had a number of landing pages for their properties, and they're no longer published because we're no longer working with them. But you can obviously see we sent an email out about our Mailchimp 101 workshop. What's really clever is Mailchimp has given you the option now to be able to see the revenue that's coming in from your emails that you are sending out. So Carrie, for example, with you and your bath calm, Mailchimp would be able to tell if you sent somebody to your website and they actually purchased a product. It would actually have a little revenue section over here. Ours actually say 0, which doesn't look great, but that's because the majority of workshops and webinars that we do are actually done on an Eventbrite account that isn't ours. It's actually RDA Brisbane's account. So we can't have access to that information. So even though people might be buying tickets, it's not transferring through because it's not recognizing that that connection. So when we went through and we connected our Eventbrite account, that's actually our personal one, but most of our tickets are bought through the RDA Brisbane one. But this gives you a really good idea to see how your emails are performing. So you'll notice it gives you a couple of options there. It's saying that with this Mailchimp 101 workshop, it was opened 119 times and 6 people clicked through onto the links. And it's also telling you that 119 opens was 27.4% of our audience as well. So a lot of people ask what's a really good, what they call open rate. And Mailchimp speaks that it should be 25% or above. So this is where if you're sending emails out, you can see, well, that email worked, that was great, or that one not so successfully. We're not going to worry about that one. So we've got one down here that you can see, 21 days to say goodbye to your imposter, which has had 100% opens. For us, that was a little course that we ran. So everybody, obviously, who wanted to be a part of that opened it, which is great. You'll see this one here has got 41.3% open rate. So that's really the thing that we're looking for. We're looking for a really great open rate on our emails. Now, if that email is being opened, so you look at this one here, this was where we had a special on ASBAS sessions. There we go, it's in February, where you could have 2 hours for the price of 1 hour. So obviously people were interested enough in that to actually open the email at 41.3%. But if you have a look at the number of clicks, it actually says 0% of clicks. So does anyone have an idea of what that's telling me straight away?
People are prepared to look, but they don't want to commit.
That's it. So for us, we would look at that email and say, well, why didn't they commit? You know, what was it about it? Did we make it too hard? Was there not a proper link in there? Why would they not? Because to me, if I had the opportunity to get 2 hours of one-on-one time with somebody for $66, I don't know why I wouldn't take that up. So sometimes it's in the way we've set the email up, but it's just really good to actually have an idea of your email open rate so you can see whether it's been successful or not and adjust it. So that's just a little showing you the front page of campaigns as well. Now, obviously there's lots of different segments that you can do. You can view by status. We've just got all selected, but you can say, show me my ongoing emails. If I click on that, thinking about it, it will know. Sorry, it's very, very slow at the moment. There we go. So these are our ongoing emails that go out. So you can divide them all up. You can view by the type. So a campaign is not just emails. It can be, as you can see with the paid version, it can be landing pages. It can be ads. So you can do ads on social media. Postcards. Does anybody use the postcard feature if you're on the paid version of Mailchimp? This is really clever. You can send a postcard, and you can design a postcard and you can send it to your clients as well for those that have addresses in there. And for some of them that don't have addresses, Mailchimp will actually find the addresses and send them as well. And I have tested this and it does work. So say a business has their email address advertised on a website, and also on that website they put their location. Mailchimp will pick up on it and send the postcard to that location. So it's very clever. Social posts, I was telling you earlier, you can do posts directly to your social media from Mailchimp as well. And then there's surveys, of course. So that's just the different types. Now, all of these things under here are called campaigns. So, and they're all the different types of campaigns that you can send out.
Are they showing up on my free one? Are they available on my free one or just on a paid one?
No, I think the postcard option is just available on the paid version, because you still have to pay for that. So it's still, you know, if you're going to send a postcard, you have to pay for that postcard. So you'd have to be on the paid version with everything set up in your account for you order to be able to send it.
The social posts are the free one?
What's that, sorry?
Are the social posts a free one?
Again, I'm not sure, because this is a new integration since I was on the free account. So I'm probably going to say that it's going to be a paid version as well. So have a look if you're on the free account, have a look at what you can see, and then you would have to start trying to create each of those to see which ones are free and which ones are paid. I think for a lot of you newbies who are on here with the free account and just starting out, your main focus is going to be on emails anyway. It's going to be on sending out emails. It's going to be sending out newsletters. So that's probably where you're just going to be starting. Automations, I know that this is a paid version because we have the automations. This is where emails automatically send out based on tags or based on what you do. So I know that that's a paid version, but your straight out emails is free. So we're going to create a campaign just so I can show you how easy it is to use. So up in the top right hand corner, if you just select create a campaign. Now, obviously this is based on our account, but we have all of the different options of being able to send out. We are just going to send out an email. Keep it nice and simple for you today. So we're selecting the top option. Now you'll notice across the top there is a horizontal menu that says, is it a regular email? Is it an automated email? Is it a plain text, or is it an A/B testing? A lot of these features, the automated, I'm not sure about plain text, but definitely automated and A/B testing would be a paid option for you as well. We're just going to send out a regular email today. So it's asking you to give a campaign name. So I'm just going to call this test email because I don't have that great of imagination. I'm going to say begin. Have many of you actually gone in and created an email in Mailchimp yet?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Actually, one thing I find helpful, particularly when I'm doing the regular one for the church, for my church, is putting a date on it, because oftentimes the title is the same.
Yes.
But to distinguish which one's which, I put a date on the campaign.
Yep. Yeah,
so
you can do for a month. I know I do that with the emails that I send out from the chamber account.
Yes.
I'll put a month on there just to sort of, I mean, obviously it has the little date, so it can tell you exactly what date you sent it out from the main screen, but you're right, it's much easier when that's in the title as well. Now, once you go into the next screen, you can edit all of this section. So up the top where I've called it test email, you can edit that name. So I could say test email September and save it, and automatically it changes that straight away. So it's all sort of editable. There's not really too much you can do wrong in this screen. So it's going to ask you, the first question is, who are you sending this campaign to? So if we click on add recipients at the side, it's going to ask me to choose an audience. Now, if I only had one audience, of course, there would only be one option there, but because I have that all properties group one, it's asking me where I want to send that to. So if I say, send it to Altitude Business Solutions, then it says segment or tag. So all subscribers in the audience, or select by tag. And this is where you can say, I only want to send it to people at the Like-Minded Local Ladies. It then gives you the option of being able to personalize the to field. We don't ever do this. And I'll tell you why we don't. There are some people who, when they subscribe to our email list, they don't put their name in. Or sometimes people will not put their name in on purpose to see what happens, or they'll put in a dodgy name just to see what happens. Some people will get it wrong. So when they enter their details in, they put their last name in their first field and their first name in their last field. And it just, to us, looks really unprofessional when we receive emails that say, hey, Altitude, how are you going? You know, it just doesn't sound right. You know, it would be like, you know, having your last name in there as your first name and it not correct. So we don't ever personalize the to field, because the only thing that's worse than not personalizing it is personalizing it and getting it wrong, and calling somebody by their wrong name or their business or something. It just doesn't look professional. But with the tags, you can just also say all subscribers in this group. So you don't have to say a tag, you can just have it left as all as well. And then you just save that little section. And then we go from, so we're going to edit from, because I can see straight away it's coming up name, altitude. That's something that we need to change. Altitude Business Solutions, and it's coming from the right email address. Again, you can change that email address when you're in there. If this one email is coming from a different email address, you can change it. Oh, please forgive me, I've just realized I'm on a different, got a different setup happening today. And you guys' faces are actually on my screen up here in front of me. So if you keep looking up my nose all the time, I do apologize, because I'm constantly looking up at your faces, so I can see you. And then it's subject. What is the subject line for this campaign? So we just go add a subject, and we add in your subject line. Now, when it comes to subject lines, a little bit of advice is they need to be subject lines that people will open. One sort of unsuccessful subject lines that I know we've tried that haven't worked would be September newsletter. Doesn't ever, people just go, oh, that's just a newsletter, I'll open that later, I won't open it. So we try and use a subject line that either A, answers a question, or B, cures a problem that our clients might have, or it gets them a little bit intrigued. So it could be, or monthly events is a good one that people tend to open. So we might say, see our monthly events, and that would work more successfully than September events. For some reason, I can't tell you why, but it just does. So you can do a lot of research on your subject lines. If you Google great email subject lines, there'll be a whole heap of examples and articles that come up about that. And you just need to go through and find things that are suitable for your business as well, that you can find. But you want something that's a little bit intriguing that gets them opening the email. Now, the preview text, you can choose to fill this out or not. It is optional, but this is the little text, you know, when something comes into your email and underneath it, it has that little kind of, you know, 2 lines of exactly what the email is about. So in this case, you might say, see what's coming up this month. Something along those lines. You could have anything you want in there. I've got an additional, I think it's 150 characters for there from memory. If I delete that, yeah, there we go. 150 characters you can use in that preview text. Most of the time we don't bother filling it out though. I don't think it's really 2 or 4, whether you do it or not. It's just another step if you choose to. So we're going to leave it blank today, and I'm just going to select save. And then we're down to the content. So you notice we've just gone down and you've got the green ticks next to each section, so we know that we filled them out properly. It is giving us a warning that we notice you did not personalize your to field. We recommend turning it on to help avoid spam filters. So yes, if you turn on your to field with your personalization, it will help to avoid spam filters, but it also can make you look really silly when it's wrong. So we make the later choice. Content. We're going to design the email now. So if you click over to the right-hand side and you just click on design email, it's going to come up and it's going to give us some options. Now, keeping in mind, we're not using a template, not going into templates just yet. We are just going in on extremely slow internet. We are on the NBN here, but it's having a slow go today, that's for sure. So it will give you options for layouts. Now with the free version, you have a limited amount of designs that you can choose from. It'll have a featured section up the top and it will have a limited number of those. And it gives you an idea, like, are you selling a product? Are you making an announcement? Are you telling a story? Are you following up? Are you educating? It gives you, I guess, a bit of a guideline. And they're all very similar. You'll notice a couple of things about them. First of all, the logo is always at the top. So if you've uploaded your logo into your settings, it will automatically appear for you. That's one of the things that it will set up. But besides that, they just all look a little bit different. If we scroll down, it comes down to very basic forms of emails, and not all of these are available in the free version. But it gives you a bit of an idea of what your email will look like. So I'm just going to stick with this first one because I'm sure that this Sell Product Ones is actually one of the ones that's available in the free version. So we're going to click on that for you today.
It is there. Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. And so they haven't changed that since I've been on, so that's good.
We actually get a little design assistant that pops up. I think that's new.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah.
It said beta, so I think they're testing that.
Yeah, that's great. So you'll notice straight away. Oh, here we go. So there we go. This is new. So this hasn't come up, and we send emails all the time. So, you know, go away for 4 days on holidays and this is what happens to you. So obviously that's really great. I think that's a great idea. And, you know, obviously you've got that integration as well. If you're on the paid version, you've got that integration between Canva and Mailchimp. So you can create beautiful looking designs. A lot of people ask us, because we're really big on Canva and it's one of the workshops that we run, why don't we use Canva to do our emails? And it was simply because when we sent our emails up, that was actually not an option for us. So we created templates in Mailchimp and then all of a sudden, you know, they brought this in and we went, oh great, we could have been doing so much better. But and we're at the stage now where it's like, do we go back and recreate all of those emails? Because you're talking about 46 emails that go out automatically to our clients. So it's a task for us to update them all. But this is great. I think this is a great option. Hopefully the beta version does actually happen and you will be able to use it. But you'll notice straight away it's pulled in our logo, because automatically we have that logo set up. But obviously we can change all of this around. So in the case of if you've got multiple businesses, you're gonna have one logo loaded up to your account, but you might want to change this logo. Everything in this email is editable. So as I hover over, it brings a box up and you'll notice it's got the little edit pencil. It's got the little plus, which is like a duplicate. So you can duplicate that section or you can simply delete it. So I'll start out with edit. So if I just click on edit, because this is a picture, again, look, it's bringing up this beautiful creative assistant. This is totally new because this wasn't here when we created an email last week. So obviously you can get some assistance from that there as well. But you can simply replace that picture. If I click on replace, it's now going to take me to all of the pictures that we have ever uploaded into Mailchimp. And it's going to say, do you want to pick any of these? So we might pick this email marketing one because that's what we're doing today. But also if there was none of those, if I quickly untick that, in the top right-hand corner, it says upload, you can upload a picture. So if you have a picture that you'd like to have in there, you can upload it and this becomes your library essentially, or your files library. But we're going to click on this email marketing one and I'm just going to say insert. And you'll notice straight away that changes the logo over to this picture. So you can make these anything that you like. One thing that's really, I would really want you to think about is just think about how people do things and use things online these days. And with a lot of pictures, people are used to being able to click on the picture. Would you agree? Whether it's on their phone or on their computer, they think they should be able to click in on it. And that's where this link section comes in really handy. So if I click on that link button, it comes up saying, what is it going to link to? Now, I'm not sure if all of these are available with the free version, but I know you can definitely link to a web address on the free version, but you might not be able to do email address or landing page, etc. So if we were just going to keep it simple and say, well, I want this to link to an email address. And we were to enter in our email address, that means whenever somebody clicks on that picture, when they get the email, whether it's on their phone, on their computer, it would automatically take them to our website because we've entered that website in. Then you've got alt here. Now, I don't know if anybody has heard, have you heard of alt text? Have you heard of this phrase before? It's used on a lot of websites. So it's an alternative for if there is, maybe somebody has their email set up so the pictures don't download because they're wanting to save on downloads. This is where the alt text comes in handy. And in this example, I would say email, I would call it email marketing. So that's just the wording that's going to come up. So when someone chooses not to download the pictures, the word email marketing is actually going to come up instead. But you could call it your business name if you wanted to. You could have it whatever you want to, and you just say update. And so that's what's called alt text. So on a lot of websites, a lot of mistakes that developers make on websites is that they don't put the alt text in behind the picture. And the alt text is the thing that Google reads so that when people are Googling, it actually comes up. So it's a really important step on your website as well. You'll know if you have alt text on your website because when you hover over it, a little bar comes up with that text actually in it. So that's how you update a picture. You'll notice there's a background color here, and you'll notice over to the left-hand side bottom, it comes up saying color. You can actually change that color to be any color that you want. If I change it to blue, that's a little bit more in line with our branding. And then obviously here you've got wording, which again, we're going to press on the little edit and it's going to bring up. The only thing that's different in Mailchimp to the majority of other programs is that you don't actually edit the wording where the wording is. You have to go over into the edit box. And even we still make that mistake sometimes of trying to click on the wording. So you would have to come over here and say, and then you can change your wording there. You can change the style. If you click across, you'll notice at the very top, there's that horizontal menu bar. You can change the style, what font you want it to be. In this case, it's not specified. Whether all of these fonts are available in the free version, I'm not sure, but you just need to select the ones that are. The size that you'd like your wording to be, like I might want that to be bigger. Say we wanted to go here. And the color, the style, and then you can go save and close. And it should, though it didn't do anything, update. Ah, there we go. So that's a little trick for you. If you want this to actually change, you need to highlight it before you go in and change it. Otherwise, it's going to do the text after. But you'll see that that's changed the color a little bit, changed the size a little bit. So all of this, and again, you can say come to the center and it will center it. And you can do all of that. One thing that comes in really handy if you're writing a lot of words is they do have the spell check on there, which is really great. But it's very similar. Would you agree? It's very similar to Word, isn't it? It's very just, yeah, put it in there and edit it. Just make sure you do the save and close at the bottom left-hand side. Otherwise, you'll miss that. Now, any of these things can be changed around simply by clicking on it, and you'll notice in the top left-hand corner is the little cross with the arrows on it. That means we can move it around. So if I click on it and move it, I can move the picture underneath. Sorry, my internet's very, very slow here today. So yeah, you can move things around. You can put words up the top. You can put pictures at the bottom. Whatever you want to happen, which is not happening for me. There we go. You can change all of that around. So even though this is a template, it gives you complete option to be able to move things around and change the wording. So buttons, you can have buttons, and obviously there's lots of different things you can do with those. But to edit a button, you just simply click on that little pencil again. Button text, you can change this to say anything you want. And again, is it going to link to a web address? You could say, email me. And again, I'm just not sure if that's available in the free version, but you can say, email me. And then that says, well, what email address do you want it to go to? And then you can also say, what subject line do you want it to be? So you can actually put the subject line in there as well. So as soon as they click on that button, it will populate an email with the subject line. So you can say message about upcoming workshop and save. So when they click on that button, straight away it's going to populate the subject to be message about upcoming workshop, and then they can put the body in there as to what they want to write. So over to, as you go down, obviously any of these, if I want to delete this section out, I just press the little garbage bin. It'll ask you, are you okay? Do you want to do that? Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Delete, and it's gone. And again, any of these other things over to the right-hand side that you can see, you can drag into this design as well. So if I wanted to put in an image card, I could drag it in, and you'll notice as I move it up and down the design, it tells me where I can put it. So it says drop block here, yes. If I let go of my mouse, straight away it puts that in as well. So you can actually have video links in your emails as well, where they link to a YouTube video, but it does require you to upload an image and actually put the link to the video within that image, if that makes sense. But again, any of this is all changeable. And then down the very bottom, it automatically puts in this design, it automatically puts in all of your socials. So straight away you'll see that it's got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then website. Now if I go in to edit that, and then it comes up saying, well, look, I can tell you we don't have a Twitter account, so I'm going to cross that Twitter account out because I don't want it to appear. And you notice the design changes straight away to say that there's no Twitter account there anymore. You can add another service. So if I add another service, it says email, but if I click on the arrow next to that email, you'll notice there's a few things that I can change it to. So Flickr, I have no idea what Dribbble is. Why there needs to be an additional B in there, I'm not sure. Doesn't sound like it's something. I have no idea. Spotify, and some people have their own Spotify playlists and things like that. Emails, websites, you know, all that kind of stuff is in there. Surprisingly so, there's no LinkedIn. So yeah, I don't know why that is, but obviously email is one that we would put there. So then we would have our Facebook, our Instagram, and website and email. And then it's just a matter of filling out. Now, if you don't fill it out, it's got pre-populated things for your Facebook. It just sends them to Facebook. But obviously, if you want it to go to a particular page, you need to actually put in the link to your page. And same with Instagram, it will send them to Instagram, but you need to put in their page. If you don't put your website link here where it says website, it will send them to the Mailchimp website. They're not silly. They're being clever about it. And then email address, obviously you put the email address in there and you just press save and close. So that is pretty much how you design an email. Does anyone have any questions on that?
Karen?
Yes.
Look, we survive on Canva, but there's no Canva in the free version. But can you just show me where you'd put a Canva in everything you just did now with the Canva image coming in? Does this stuff overpopulate that?
That's a really good question. We haven't actually ever used it, to be honest with you. I'm going to say everything that we do with Mailchimp is always very simple, and there's always a step-by-step guide. So my advice to you would be that there would be a step-by-step guide. I'm actually, because I need to do that, what I might do is I might create a email. I might create a video and email it to you with this video that's going to get sent out, which will be a step-by-step for you, because we need to do that. We haven't linked in our Canva. So, but I'm assuming it's going to be very simple. It always is. So it'll be great to do it from scratch with you guys. And
while I was having a look, while you were chatting, I was having a look at uploading a photo, and it wasn't really very straightforward at all. You have to use that beta testing little assistant, and then create a folder, and then you can start uploading photos to that folder, and that will pull it from the folder and pop it where you want it, and then you've got the capacity to choose which one you want if you've got more than one image. But it took a bit. But I got there in the end. You've got to use that little assistant.
Use the little assistant. Yeah. I mean, obviously this is new and they're wanting people to try it so they can see what happens. Remember I said to you in the very beginning that I know that their focus is on making Mailchimp a little bit user friendly because they know that there's a lot of features people aren't using because they don't understand. So my advice would be to use that assistant where you're having difficulty and things aren't straightforward to you. Because that's obviously going to help out. Anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah, where can I upload my logo? I've got my photo up from my profile, but I can't find where I can upload my logo.
So in your settings, sorry, let me get out of here. I'll go back to it and I'll let you know. I just don't want to get out of this particular section at the moment because we're in email. But yeah, there is a section where you upload your logo. It was on that first. In that first little section that we did.
If you go into that replace for the logo, you can see it.
Yeah.
Just over.
I've got a profile photo, but I can't see where logo goes.
I think that's in the email campaign.
It's not down the profile?
It's in the campaign section.
It's in the settings of the campaigns.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Karen?
Yes.
We do events monthly, and we'd like to work out a way of sending it. At the moment, we have to send out events, a notice through Mailchimp. 3 weeks out, 1 week out, 1 day out. Is there any way Mailchimp will let us synchronise that in advance? Because it's painful to go in and just send it 3 times.
Yeah, so if you had the paid version of Mailchimp, when you create your email, the second option in says automation, and you can actually set up for it to automatically send that email 3 times.
Thank you.
But that is only available with the paid version. So I do that with the Chamber of Commerce because we have our events as well and we do something very similar. So I will set it up to go once, twice, 3 times, and when I want that to send. So yes, with the paid version, you can definitely do that.
Fantastic, thank you.
So any of these things that you can see here, you can drag in. We're just going to continue because we're just sending a basic email. One thing I would recommend to you is before you're sending out your emails, always send yourself a test email.
Yep.
Because then you get to see what it's going to look like when it is sent out to your clientele. So as we scroll down, you'll notice it says send a test email just underneath the little image. That is exactly what you want to do because you want to make sure. And when you get that test email, you can do everything. Click on the image, make sure that's right, check your spelling, you know, all of that kind of stuff. Now, as you go down, again, I do apologize. I'm not sure whether this is with the free version or not, but you can add a social post to your campaign, which means as soon as you send that email, it will automatically post onto your Facebook page as well. So if I toggle that on, you notice straight away it's coming up asking me which Facebook page do I want it to send to. We've got way too many because we look after way too many clients, but Altitude's Business Solutions is the one that we'd send it to. And then in here, you'll notice it's actually pulled in the wording for the subject line, which is see our monthly events. Now you can have that and leave it the same, or again, you can edit it, if you want it to be different. And you can also add an image to it. So I would definitely be adding an image, and I'd be adding the same image that's in the email, which is that email campaign. And then just click on that and you say insert. And so you can save that message so that when you send that email, it's going to post automatically to your Facebook page. And it's going to have the image and the wording there for you. So that's one less thing that you have to do. And again, you can connect your Instagram and your Twitter accounts as well to do the same thing. So from there, after you've sent yourself your test email and you've checked everything out, then you are ready to send. So once you have done everything, it's saying no, send to your email, remove or replace the placeholder content. Let's see. I know this is because I've entered in those social links and I haven't edited them properly. So it's saying that I need to actually edit them or remove them. So I'm just going to go and quickly remove them. Not that I can do anything quickly with my internet as it is today.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Yes, please.
Well, I found where to do the logo. Do I upload a logo that's PNG, JPG? What sort of?
Is it giving you an option?
Yeah.
I would say JPEG if I was you, only because it's going to be relative to the size of the file that gets sent for the email.
Okay, cool.
So a JPEG is a not so, yeah, it's just an easier for email to receive. So.
Thank you.
So a PNG file is great if you're printing something because you want it really high quality, but when you're doing digital, anything online, whether it's on your website or whatever the case is.
So it will save it now that I've got it on here?
Sorry?
Will I have to bring it up every time, or will it be kept on my...
My logo comes up automatically.
Sorry?
My logo comes up automatically, so it should just come up automatically, but you might have to recreate an email for it to come up automatically now that you've just put it in.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah.
I would say.
If it's saved in the logo section, it will be automatically put into it.
So here I am trying to do this for you, and because this is what happens with live training, it doesn't always go according to plan, but it's telling me because I haven't updated everything. This is what happens when they have an upgrade, you see. I was just going to say, and then all you do is press the send button, but the send button won't come up. And I guess in a way, this is a really good example to be able to show you that when you don't have everything right in your email, Mailchimp is going to tell you. It is going to say, so it's recognizing that I haven't actually edited any of these. So it's telling me that because I haven't edited them, that am I sure that I want to send it because I haven't actually edited. You know, do I really want to send that as it is? So can I please go in and actually edit it or yeah, get rid of them? So that's good in a way because it means that you can't accidentally pull something across and not edit it and then send it and you'll be sending something that's not right to your clients. There we go. So we've gone into our email, we have edited everything properly and Mailchimp is now happy. So up in the top right-hand corner, it's giving us the send option. Like I said to you, before you do that though, please send yourself a test email first. All you do is click on test email and it will say, who would you like to send it to? This is my personal email address. And you can just add in any email address. So for us, when we're working with clients, and we're sending emails on behalf of our clients, we will actually send them a test. So you can send a test email to anybody. When you get that email through, make sure you click on all of the options. And then if you're happy with all of that, you just up in the top right-hand corner, press the aqua color send button, and that's it. Your campaign is sent off and it's ready to go. We're not going to in this case, obviously, because otherwise it's going to send a test email September to all of our entire list, which wouldn't go down well. But is that pretty straightforward of how you create a email?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm just going to very quickly go into email templates for you as well. So obviously I don't need to go through and explain to you how to change the design because we've just done that in an email, but email templates can be a really quick way for you to create an email with a template so then you don't have to go back in and re-put in a lot of links all the time. So if you just go to your campaigns and within your campaigns go into email templates, this is where you can create a template. And I'm not sure whether you can do this with the free version or not, but if you can, it'll be in the top right-hand corner under Create Template. You just simply click on that button and it starts the process of selecting a starting point for your template. So that'll be a design or what you want it to be. So it's layout. So you just select your layout and then you go in and you make all of the changes that you want to happen on a template and then you save it. Now, the great thing about using a template when you create a campaign, if I can exit out of this very quickly and show you, because I know we're right on time. And I just want to make sure that I do show you this because it's really important. Once you've set up your templates underneath your campaigns, when I go back into campaigns and then I go to create a campaign because I'm going to create a new email. I'm going to select an email, and then I'm going to call it test 2, and I go begin. When I come down to the design email button, it is going to give me all of the options of the designs as normal, as it normally would. So you can say that's it, or it's going to say, do you want to select a theme? So I'm looking at the horizontal menu just above. It says layouts, themed, and saved templates. So if I click on saved templates, you'll notice that test template that I just very quickly created them but didn't put anything in it has come up, but also all of our other templates have come up as well. So that we can just simply select one of those templates that we've already created. So if I was to select onboarding series email, which is what we've named one of our templates, and click on that, pretty much everything is going to come up the way that we like it to be, but it will just be the content that we need to change. So straight away, you'll notice our logo's already come up. That logo will have a link in it to our website. As we scroll down, all of these pictures are here and all of the content is there. All of our social links will be right. If I click on those social links, you'll notice it's going to our Facebook page and to our Instagram, to our website. So I don't have to change any of those things. So you can see how much quicker this would be. In the case of this particular email, the only 2 or 3 things that I'm going to have to update on a regular basis is this email image here, the coming soon image, the wording, and then the read more button, because these other things are all standard and they're all going to say the same. So you can see how much quicker that would be than having to recreate the email from scratch. So it would be my recommendation that where possible, you set up templates and make your life much easier when it comes to that as well. So did anybody have any questions on that? I know we've been through a lot today.
If you were setting up a Canva, like heading template.
Yes.
So you just pull it in as a file at the top and put it into template?
Again, that I'll do that in the video that I send you, because we don't have our Canva account linked. I'm not really up to scratch on that, but I will make sure that with this recording that you get the recording of that as well. Because we will actually link, I'll go through the video showing you how to link your Canva accounts, and then also show you how to drag it into an email. Because yeah, we haven't used that ourselves, so it'd be great to use.
Yeah, I've registered for the Canva workshops as well.
Oh great, yeah, they're good. They're good. Canva is just, what you can do in Canva is absolutely amazing. So together with Canva and Mailchimp, you pretty much your marketing is all taken care of really from there, because you've got everything that you need to be able to market your business. Did anybody else have any other questions? Have I covered everything? I know I've lost a few people, but there's still quite a few of you there.
I've got one quick question. Because I can't get another audience, can I differentiate the mail that I send out by tagging?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yep. So you could have a tag on your suppliers and a tag on your customers, as an example. And then when you're sending the email out, you would say, send it to that audience, but only send it to my suppliers. And you could do that email just to go out to your suppliers.
Excellent.
So in the case of your business, Carrie, that would be definitely what I was doing, because it's one business.
Yeah.
So you're sending out, the one business is sending out. It would the only reason I would suggest setting up a separate audience would be if it was a separate business.
Yeah,
because
sure.
you don't want to accidentally send something from the wrong business to the wrong list.
I guarantee I'll do that too.
Yeah, me too.
So I get a lot of my contacts through networking.
Yep.
If I give them my business card, I would actually verbally ask them, do you mind if are you okay if I send you out information on offers we have coming up or something along those lines?
Yeah, I think the best way to ask people is actually to assume that they are okay, because people don't like to say no. So I normally just say, you're okay if I send some information about business hints and tips, aren't you? And they go, yeah. So in your case, you're happy for me to send some information about our product and you know, how it can be a benefit to you.
Yep.
And people don't like to say no. So I've never ever had someone go, no, actually I'm not. They normally say yes and unsubscribe later down the track. So yeah, and again, don't be afraid of your unsubscribed. So I'm just going through, I noticed that there's a few questions that, is there a reason that you don't remove your unsubscribes from your audience? Jesse, yes, there is. I personally don't want to remove people and then accidentally add them later when they've already unsubscribed. So the question is, why don't I remove my unsubscribes from my audience list? And that's it. I go to so many, like Carrie, I go to a lot of networking events and I meet a lot of people and I see them face to face. And if someone's unsubscribed from my list, they've unsubscribed, and I really don't want to accidentally make the mistake of adding them later, and realizing that I've already emailed them. So
you hit them. They have a tag of unsubscribe, do they?
They unsubscribe themselves, yes. So in that that first page that we were on, where it was talking about my audience and how many of them were actually in the audience and how many of them were subscribed, I think it was like 538 audience with a 433 subscribed. That means that, just over 100 of them have actually unsubscribed from me. And if they've unsubscribed, they don't want to do business with me, and I don't want to accidentally add them down the track. If they choose to resubscribe, this is where Mailchimp comes in quite clever as well, because I have had people who have unsubscribed and then decided they wanted to resubscribe. Mailchimp does recognize them. So if they go to our website and they resubscribe, Mailchimp will automatically reactivate their account for them. So, and that's clever because you can see that they were subscribed and then they chose to unsubscribe and then they came back. So that's interesting.
Actually, with that, would Mailchimp recognise that they're in archives if you've archived them rather than completely remove them?
I believe it does. I believe it does, yeah.
Because that way, I've archived the ones that that have unsubscribed.
Yep.
And they are no longer counted as the number on the list.
Yeah, okay, I understand. So if you're getting close to that paid option, then you don't want to have to go over. Yeah, yep. So that would be a good idea. But I believe it does recognise them. So once they're in Mailchimp, they're in Mailchimp, regardless if they're archived or not. It will unarchive them. So I'm just reading through some of these questions that have come through. I do apologise, in the share screen I always forget to check this. Don't remove your unsubscribe. Yes, you're right. Zoom does slow down connections a lot. I know, I struggle with these. Right, Raymond, thank you. I struggle with these all the time. And no, unfortunately, Lindsay, LinkedIn is not, LinkedIn is an option on your list. Oh, there you go. Maybe I just scrolled down too quickly. So there we go. It was, Lindsay was talking about there when we were having the social links that that LinkedIn wasn't available, but it is actually available. I just obviously gone a little bit too far down and too quickly for you. So has that helped you guys out with a lot of your Mailchimp questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm hitting Mailchimp as soon as I'm off.
Look, I know it can be a little bit daunting because you sort of think, wow, there is so much to do. And guys, I'm only a phone call away. If you need to have any questions or you wanted to clarify something, please feel free to send me an email. But you will get a copy of this recording, and you will also get, I will do that other video this afternoon for you as well, showing you the Canva integration as well. And I'll make sure that RDA Brisbane send that on to you as well. But if there's any other questions finally before we all sort of finish up, I know we're running a little bit over time. I do apologise.
No, just to say thank you. You've cleared up so much for me.
Oh, awesome.
This great big quagmire before, and now there's structure to it. So thank you very much.
Look, when it comes to emails, there is nothing works better than taking action. And what's interesting when I have conversations with a lot of people about email, I get it all. I I don't open emails, or I get too many emails, but what you need to think about when it comes to any kind of marketing for your business is that there are 5 different personalities, and those 5 people react differently to different things. There are people who love email. There are people who just subscribe to things and sort their email out every day and absolutely love it. I'm not one of those people. I'm definitely not one of those people, but I understand that a percentage of my clientele are. And as I can tell from my open rate, there's a percentage of them that really like it, because, you know, if you can have 533 people that you've put into an audience and only a 5th of them has unsubscribed, what does that say about the rest of them? So it's just really important to make sure that you do you know, have it as part of your marketing plan, that you're having that follow-up. And people kind of expect it. You know, when you buy something, you expect to receive an email, don't you? Like, you expect to, if you don't, you start to worry. You start to go, well, I just purchased that online and I didn't get an email. So, and once you purchase something, you expect to get emails from people as well.
Yeah, that actually happened to me yesterday, to the point where I contacted them and said, hey, can I actually have some paperwork for my purchase, please?
Yeah. So if they don't have things set up automatically to go out when you purchase, it's an issue.
And I think they're struggling because it's an online business and everyone's suddenly wanting to make things that our business makes, and they're running right behind. They're like a week behind or something. So.
Yeah, that will happen. So after you've been to one of those sessions, a lot of people ask, well, you know, what to now? What can you do now? Well, obviously, as I said to you, you'll receive a copy of this recording. You can book in an ASBAS session if that's what you're wanting to do, or check out the other 2-hour workshops that are available. Obviously, originally this one today was supposed to be with Pip Meacham from Project Box, and I got this given to me a couple of days ago. So I know that it's probably not as structured as what it should have been. I normally like to research a lot more than a couple of days before my workshops, but I think we've done well. You can attend a webinar.
We don't know that you're not that well rehearsed on this one.
There you go. Thanks. I was pulling it together, but yeah, she was unfortunately not able to do it. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you got a lot out of it, and I hope to see a lot of you around at some other workshops and webinars that we have running.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye. See you, Sandy.
Can I